Hello, I'm a Dragon, and this is a film I've been looking forward to talking about for a long time. Bolt is a movie about a dog that gets lost in New York and needs to find his way back home to California with the help of a streetwise cat, Mittens, and a sheltered but enthusiastic hamster, Rhino. Yeah, it's that cliche pet returning home filled with the low-hanging fruit of talking fluffy creatures. Big freaking whoop. He's gonna learn it's a dangerous world out there and appreciate his person even more, right? How could I possibly praise a film with such a hollow shell of a plot? Well, it's actually pretty easy. Because as much as this film is homeward bound, it is equal parts The Truman Show. This dog was raised to believe he's a superhero but only plays one on TV. This leads to an interesting dynamic of him holding the cat hostage, egged on by the delusional hamster, and getting into trouble he is not equipped to deal with far too much confidence. Meanwhile, back home, his owner Penny has to deal with moving on from a lost dog, but not on her own timetable because the show has deadlines to hit, and if she doesn't, people lose jobs. So a stale plot gets a shot of adrenaline from higher and more realistic stakes, and a weird twist throwing tired character dynamics for a loop. As far as characters go, none of them are super complex. Bolt is your standard good boy with a reasonably inflated need to protect Penny. It makes sense given that they're always in mortal danger. Penny is a girl. There's not much time devoted to fleshing her out, but she's not the focus, so whatever. Rhino is a bit much some of the time. He has his moments, but his use and abuse of the word awesome gets grating very quick. Mittens is my favorite. Playing the straight man to a not actually superhero and delusional fanboy is a great way to get laughs. And further in, her reveal that she's a declawed abandoned pet brings the animals their first actual conflict that can't be reasoned away by convincing Bolt that he is just a normal dog. The overall tone of the film can be a bit juvenile with a few low-effort jokes, and the whole homeward bound thing is something you've just gotta sit through. But the refreshed character dynamics and the few clever plot decisions that cause them are more than worth the minor missteps, and a certain amount of following a cliche plot is inherent when doing a twist upon that plot. That, and they keep the look at the cute puppy scenes pretty low. It's really just this one moment, and it's framed well enough to excuse it. So, overall, it's a pretty good film. Lots of fun, not a masterpiece, but worth a shot, no doubt. But as I said at the beginning of this video, I was looking forward to talking about this movie for a long time. Why this film, though? Why this B-, give it a try, but if you don't, you're not really missing out on too much kind of film? Well, it's not because of what this movie is, or its artistic merit. Its tight writing, or breathtaking visuals, the character struggles, or funny, quippy dialogue. No, this movie is special because of what it did to me, what it did for me. Let me tell you a little bit of a story about myself. The year is 2011. I'm a freshman at college, and I've had a bad week. Forgotten assignments, sleeping poorly. Actually, it's a whole lot more serious than that, but that's in the past, and I don't need to get into that with strangers on the internet. You know, the works. And it all culminates one early October day. One very rainy October day. I walk through a downpour to class only to learn it's been canceled, then walk back to my dorm soaking needlessly and angry. I want to throw on some kind of saccharine emotional manipulation and see if that can get me feeling better. And Bolt, a film I've never seen before and seems to have been forgotten by the general public after a short 3 years, is the first thing that comes to mind. I look it up online, crack open some Welch's fruit snacks, and sit mesmerized for 96 minutes. I have no idea why I was so moved by it to this very day. Maybe it was the cute, simple characters, or that I had just finished reading Plato's Allegory of the Cave for a class I was in, and the connection between ancient Greek philosophy and overlooked Disney film fascinated me. But I remember thinking distinctly, this is so interesting yet totally under my radar. What else could I be missing out on? And so I watched every single Disney and Pixar film in the next 9 days. Yeah, you heard that correctly, 63 movies, 9 days. My appreciation for animation became a love. I could never let it go. I did the same thing shortly afterwards with DreamWorks and Ghibli. I went to midnight premieres full of empty seats. I saw Wreck-It Ralph 6 times in theaters and regret not going more. I marathoned a whole run of shows that I remember liking just an episode or two of in the past. Bolt may have been just an above average film, but its effect on my life has been anything but average. And to think, some of my peers were inspired by nearly flawless masterpieces like Spirited Away or WALL-E, or at the very least, huge cultural milestones like The Lion King or Shrek. I get to be inspired by the mid-2000s early CGI work of Disney, and how it wasn't total garbage like I was expecting it to be considering their track record of the period. Yeah, it may be an average piece of junk, but as my favorite critic once said,
"The average piece of junk is probably more meaningful than our criticism designating it so."
That average piece of junk started my passion. The average piece of junk is the reason why I have a meager success of a YouTube channel, what I come home to after my soul-sucking 9 to 5. It inspired me to share its quirky little brilliance with others instead of keeping it all to myself. It's actually the first review I've ever recorded in honor of its special place in my life, and my own work reflected that of the film. Something that's a bit embarrassing, but I am not ashamed of in the slightest. And something I want to share with all of you because of how much it means to me. So here we go, in all of its awkward 2014 Windows Movie Maker, first draft is definitely good enough glory, the previously unpublished actual start of my YouTube channel.
Alright, this is your first review. Remember, calm down, be objective, and don't get ahead of yourself. Bolt is fantastic. I love it. I have no idea why more people haven't seen it, and I think it's the beginning of Disney's latest golden age.
Alright, let's forget that happened. Bolt is about a dog who stars as a superhero in a TV show. To make his acting more believable, the producers keep him in the dark. This leads the dog to believe he actually has superpowers.
Not likely, Cat, for you have chosen to follow the path of evil. Ultimately, it will destroy you, along with your fiendish puppet master.
Wow, I know, right?
Among other delusions. Bolt, believing his owner would be captured after the taping of an episode, escapes. Through a couple of mishaps, he gets shipped to New York. There, he meets Mittens, a streetwise alley cat. Knowing that all cats are evil, he takes Mittens hostage and demands that she take him back home to Hollywood.
All you need to do is get from here to there.
Across the whole country.
What we get next is a journey following the two across the states. On the way, they run into problems like hunger, a train, and animal control, while Bolt slowly learns that he isn't a superhero.
But you don't have any superpowers.
I know.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. Crazy day for you, huh?
it's been a lot. Yes, it has.
More importantly, he learns how to be a dog, something he never really had been before.
Alright, so what does this movie have going for it? First of all, the plot concept is pretty great. It's sort of a mix between The Truman Show and a road trip movie. While The Lion King had Hamlet and Pocahontas had Dances with Wolves, Bolt doesn't really have a true predecessor.
I know this dog.
Yeah, me too.
I gotta remember, it's gonna kill me. Hold on.
The characters are solid also. There's a great dynamic between Bolt as a dramatic and over-the-top character with Mittens playing the straight man. This dynamic is even better with the addition of Rhino, a hamster who's Bolt's biggest fan.
Wait a minute. You've seen the Super Bark.
Have you been observing me?
Oh, yeah. I watch you all the time.
That's incredible.
Oh, it's nothing, really.
But I'm always so vigilant. No one can evade my detection. You're a phantom.
Even after Bolt realizes he's a normal dog,
Rhino continues his fanboy ways. More on him later. The third big thing, and the most important, you care about the characters. You really want Bolt to get back home, even after he realizes that the world doesn't hang in the balance. There's a revelation about Mittens that's also one of Disney's sadder moments. It's even made abundantly clear that Penny cares for Bolt as well.
It's okay, baby.
He must be so scared.
Scared? Well, this is Bolt we're talking about. He's not scared of anything.
Beyond all this, it's adorable. That is reason enough to watch it at least once. Like most other Disney movies starring animals, you will want to adopt a puppy right afterwards. It is, however, the first to make you want to adopt a puppy by using CGI.
Oh, look at this little guy.
Oh.
Oh.
Beat it, stupid cat!
Now, where does the movie lose its way? Rhino. I know I talked about the emphasized dynamic he brought earlier, but the problems he causes are far greater. He's a flat character with one emotion and the vocabulary of a 7th grader.
Fully awesome! He is fully awesome!
And he's awesome.
It was awesome! Fully awesome! If you're awesome!
Disney has this way of including purely comedic characters that do little but irritate anybody over the age of 10. Rhino is a prime example.
Check it out! What?
Take a gander at this Bolt action. Scary, huh?
It's like we're twins.
Yeah. Scary.
I've heard some people complain about Miley Cyrus and her voice acting, but I think that just might be hate for the person. I don't like her at all, but I didn't see her taking anything away from the film. I've also heard complaints about Bolt not being drawn by hand and that the CGI made it worse than it could have been. Again, I disagree. But hey, if you don't like the style, I'm not going to judge. Other than that, be prepared for a little bit of Disney sap. Overall, it's pretty low, but it shows up a bit at the very end. Of course, if you weren't prepared for some sap, why are you watching a Disney movie?
Oh, Bolt. You know I have to go.
So, what's the final verdict? I give it an 8 out of 10. Overall, it's a sturdy animated film. It's unique in its plot and very cute, but it's not without its serious moments. Its humor does not fall short, aside from many of Rhino's lines. You might not identify with Bolt, Mittens, or Penny, but you can easily empathize with them. Yes, Rhino's irritating, and some people might have other small quarrels with it, but I think that's just nitpicking. Bolt isn't really the kind of movie to change your life, but it's a nice, solid film with a ton of heart baked into it. If you haven't seen it, I think you're really missing out.
Rhino is awesome. He's so awesome.
He's beyond awesome. He's be awesome. He's
I am be awesome.
I'm very excited about what I have coming up ahead. I'm going to be doing a short series about series worth watching for just a small part of it. Not that the rest of the show isn't worth watching, just that a single part is far and away the best part of it. So, next time, I'm going to be covering the show worth watching for a single character.